So, just a few words on the outcome of the speakership election. Not really surprising result. So Lindsay Hoyle has become the 158th speaker. I'll need to double check that 158 figure because it's a bit like the premiership. It's depending really on where you consider the beginning of the speakership as an office. So not a really surprising result. Second place runner-up was Chris Bryant. No opposition to the amendment to propose or the proposition to have Sir Lindsay Hoyle as Speaker. I think it's immediately obvious that he's going to have a different style from Bercow. One thing that stands out about Hoyle is, of course, the Lancastrian accent, and I think that resonates with a lot of people. To have a regional accent they find somewhat refreshing, although they tend to forget that Speaker Martin was a Glaswegian. He certainly didn't have a conventional establishment accent either. So I understand the logic of that, but it isn't unprecedented. I think that Lindsay is going to be a more hands-off speaker. Lindsay Hoyle, I should say, excuse me. He's going to be more hands-off, more like the referee, watching closely but not intervening so much. Dare I say it, I think he's going to be a bit more dull than Bercow. But maybe that's a good thing, in the sense that some people thought that Bercow's colourful nature was a problem, that he was too outspoken, that he kind of became a bit of a celebrity, that he kind of got to dominate the role in a way that was unhealthy. I think it very much depends from which vantage point you speak from. I don't think Bercow's going to be forgotten, but I do think if you're thinking in terms of constitutionally, a speaker who is absolutely neutral, who can command control, and I've seen Hoyle in action as deputy speaker, he can certainly command control. He's maybe not the most articulate person in the Commons. I mean, he doesn't have the sort of vernacular of a Bercow or a Jacob Rees-Mogg, but doesn't really matter. You don't need to be a poet, you just need to be assertive, sharp, and command attention. So I wish him well, because it's a hugely demanding job. And on a personal level, it's obvious that he was quite emotional when he remembered his young daughter, only 28 years old, who passed away recently. It's clear that he was emotional remembering that because his family was watching. Now, we have a tradition in the UK that the Speaker is traditionally dragged to the chair, and it's kind of spontaneous. So on this occasion it was Caroline Flint, and I believe Tobias Elwood. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was Tobias Elwood, or maybe it was David Liddington actually, I'm trying to recall. They dragged him to the chair. So it's always, one of those peculiar British political traits. Not much more to say really. It's a very important role, very pressurising, but I think we're going to see a slightly more hands-off speaker. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think he's going to be as controversial as Bercow, and maybe that's a good thing, because British politics after this election, God, we just need some dust to settle. And I know that's wishful thinking, but as much as I like political developments, I like elections, we need some dust to settle in this country, because it has been such a turbulent decade for British politics. I would say more so than the 90s and the 2000s, definitely. Very turbulent decade, so we need some dust to settle, and Hoyle's going to play an important part in that. But of course it depends on the Brexit question, and this election is going to be Brexit, Brexit, Brexit. Since I'm on politics, since this is a politics video, just briefly mention, apparently there was a suspect device found in the offices of Joe Swinson. That turned out to be nothing, but the fact that it was suspect to begin with, I don't know what that means, just an unclaimed parcel, a parcel without identification. Thankfully it wasn't anything, but there is growing extremism in this country, and it can be found on both sides. Caroline Flint received apparently death threats because she voted with the government, but with Boris Johnson's Brexit bill. So it's happening on both sides. There are extremes on both sides. The new speaker is going to play a very important role in moderating the climate. And no one person can absolutely control this, but I do think the speaker definitely needs to set an example. And I think the speakership is in safe hands. That's my gut feeling. He's going to be not as exciting as Bercow. I don't think he's going to be as colourful, but maybe that's what we need right now. So we'll see. And I wish Speaker Hoyle all the best.